directive, where if you need something from another government agency, don't ask the client, go and get it from the government agency. But I think all told, and this is an appeal that has to be made, and His Excellency the Vice President said it at the public meeting with public servants, it's an attitudinal thing as well. As we work, we have to realize also that it's our relatives, it's our children that are running small businesses. And it's our duty to facilitate their success rather than be an obstacle in their way. So it's a mindset shift. Trainings are going on. We're encouraging people to see it from that perspective. But as I said, it's something that is work in progress. But let's acknowledge the achievements that have been made while we continue to push harder to make sure that the regulatory agencies begin to see it as, I'm a business facilitator, but I have to ensure that certain standards are complied with, health factors and things like that. But it's a work in progress. But I'm positive that we're very much on the move in terms of those things as well.
Where are we now concerning economic growth and recovery plan as the ERGP? Where are we exactly? Because it has a lot of components. Yeah. Where are we exactly on it?
Okay, there are three dimensions again. The first dimension is that even what has happened now is part of the economic recovery and growth plan. So a lot of the macroeconomic policies that we are taking to restore growth are part implementation of that plan. Remember, there are 5 execution priorities there. The macroeconomic stabilization was the first part of it. Second part of it are the areas of agriculture, transportation, energy sufficiency, and industrialization. And what I always try to point out to is, what does the budget say vis-a-vis your priorities? Where did you put the money in the budget? Because that's where you show that this is important to me. And if you look at the budget and look at the ERGP, the areas that got a lot, particularly of capital expenditure, are in the areas that are clearly articulated in the ERGP, as I said. So I think the budget is the first tool to see how are you implementing. The other thing is our everyday experience. You know, have you seen look, it's a whole load of roads in the country, but it's undeniable that certain roads you can see the visible improvement. There's some that are still ongoing. You can see the work has started. Rail, you can see that the work has started. Kaduna Idu is up and running. And when demand was high, an effort was made to add some additional carriages to run it. Lagos, Ibadan has been kicked off, ultimately heading to Kano. So again, I must say that it's like a building site in the sense that lots of things are going on, and you will not see the skyscraper until they all come together and you manage to put the glass panes, the steel structures, and all the things that put a building together. So I just see that the most important thing is to keep our eyes on the ball, both as government and as citizens, and to do our own bit to ensure that we keep the positive trajectory of the economy, because our aim is 7% by 2020.
Is it feasible? That means we need to grow very fast. 2020 is just 3 years down the line.
Let me say that it's not a question of feasibility. It must happen. Because if you are growing
if it doesn't
population
happen, what
at
happens?
2.7.
If it doesn't happen, I'll take you up.
If it doesn't happen,
we'll be alive till 2020.
No, amen. But if it doesn't happen, it's a collective problem for the country. See, we have to understand certain things. Some things belong to the whole country. They are not personal. It's all of us. It's jobs for my children. It's markets for my relatives. It's business success for my friends. It has to happen. It's something, it has to be a collective. We have to become a developmental state, a country driven by the thought of development as our national priority. That's the way people who have developed in East Asia and places like Ethiopia, that's the way they've gone about it, is to turn it into a national project, that this has to happen, irrespective of other things. And I think that's the challenge that comes before all of us, that we just have to make it happen in our own way, invest as best as we can in education, health, manufacturing, and
Talking about education now, we know what's happening in the education sector. Is the government worried about it? Schools are closed, universities are closed, non-teaching staff on strike, resident doctors on strike, no sector, and these are sectors that are very integral.
But
concerning
come on, Nancy, you saw people working till midnight to resolve crisis. How else do you show concern? And it's not as if they just keep going. Within 1, 2, 3 days, there's positive language emanating from there, right? So everybody has to keep their sides of whatever agreements are reached. But the important thing is there's no greater demonstration of concern than being willing to sit in the room and say, let's thrash out the issues and then let's move forward.
Can the government be looking at actions that are not reactionary? Actions that would avert such crises before they even happen? Because I can imagine people that have died, a lot of students now at home not doing anything and all of that. So can government sometimes not be reactionary?
Yeah, but I mean, government is not reactionary. That's why government has a plan. That's why government has a budget. The budget is a one-year plan, and it's an indication of what you're trying to come and do. And you do your best within that means. And I think by and large, government has been keeping to its obligations and even resolving obligations that it inherited. People have been owed up to 2.2 trillion naira. And an effort is being made to say this is a heavy weight on the economy because the businessman who is owed money cannot really expand his business. If he's paid in whatever proportion he's paid, if the salaries of staff that are pending in the public service, which are to be paid off directly, or the people who are going to get promissory notes and things like that, you are taking a huge burden off their businesses. You are taking a huge burden off their ability to expand. And so what I'm trying to say is that, no, it's not reactionary at all. It's just that you just have to keep tackling the problems, and appeal for a little bit more of patience as we try. That's the nature of development, isn't it?
All right, just let's just quickly take this from some people tweeting. Okay, Godfrey Odogu says, can the SA explain how the economic recovery will impact the living standard of